your skin, that shit is popping, girl. Body on 10, damn, you got it, girl. You gotta boss up, getting them checks, living your best, racks up. Keep walking with confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus Exodus. Shout out to my exes. Hey, Boots, hey! It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Woman Exodus. How are you guys doing? Like always, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Please say what's up to me in the comment section. Say what's up to me in the chat. Hey, y'all in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, when you have a moment, please pause this video and follow the backup channel. It is called LexX. That's Lexex. You can also find the link in the description below. Also, if you have any suggestions or any ideas for any new stories, feel free to share that to me to my Gmail. That is lexusexoduschannel@gmail.com. Also, if you bop into the intro song and you enjoy it, you can now stream it on all streaming platforms. That's right, you asked for it, so I did it. You can now stream the Lexus Exodus Full Intro song on iTunes, Apple Music, and Spotify. Also, shout out to you guys for contributing to such a successful live. Thank you so much, guys. The engagement was crazy yesterday. It was so much fun. So many of you guys called in. I had tons of content creators that called in, and I was really happy about that. Also, the people that I love to listen to, that I'm major fans of on different platforms, called in and contributed. You guys are so dope. And here I was worried that you guys would get a little bit shy on me and wouldn't want to call in. And you guys showed up and showed out to the point that I couldn't even get to everybody who called. There were a lot of people who were waiting. So shout out to you guys for supporting and for showing up and showing out like you did. I really, really appreciate you guys. That was so much fun. This is another installment of my daily series called the Blackistan Zoo, where we profile the dusty derelicts, crazy creatures, and animals in Blackistan. This series premieres Monday through Friday at 6:30 ET. Let's get it. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the menaces to society, y'all. So, the menaces, they're very evil, very nefarious Tyrones in Blackistan who regularly terrorize and harm innocent people within the community. So they'll oftentimes hurt innocent victims, attempting to steal resources and different assets and money and things like that they possess. But oftentimes they'll engage in these random acts of senseless violence for no reason at all. So they like to rob, kill, and steal and destroy and inflict trauma and toxicity on everyone who comes across their paths. So I want to get into these real-time instances of menaces, and I really want to explore their innate behavior and look at some examples. So this first story, shout out to Yvette Him, who shared this first story about a menace. So a woman actually called 911 because she had some difficulties breathing. Y'all, why did her son beat up the damn paramedics? Y'all, I can't. So let's watch this first story and then we will talk through.
killed. A medic called to help a woman viciously attacked by that woman's son. Good to have you with us for Local 4 News at 5 of this Monday. Exclusive details tonight on that attack on a Detroit EMS medic.
That medic was trying to help a mother when her own son attacked that very same medic. Local 4 defender Sean Lay gets to the bottom of the attack, which Detroit Fire says could have killed one of their own.
Tonight we are covering every angle of this, from what Detroit Fire has to say, what neighbors saw out here blocking off this intersection. And we even spoke to the mother the medic was trying to help. Everyone describing absolute chaos out here yesterday afternoon.
Anybody for call 1002. Call 1002. Anything? 24, request my call 1000.
That is the voice of a Detroit medic frantically calling for help, calling code 1002. An alert 911 dispatcher could hear the panic in his voice, quickly correcting the call to code 1000. For medics, that is the same as the call officer down. For police, the defenders obtaining the crew's calls for help as they came under attack Sunday afternoon. Detroit EMS was called to a home on American Avenue on Detroit's west side. This woman says she was having chest pains and difficulty breathing. Medics were helping her in her bedroom when she says her 31-year-old son stormed in, demanding that medics update him. One medic reaching out, asking the son to calm down.
Pushed him, and when he pushed him, then he doubled back and hit him.
Got us trying to help somebody and end up being attacked. Not a good thing. I mean, he could have been seriously injured.
The street was now full of first responders there to protect the medics. Neighbors couldn't get to their homes.
When I got here, it was a whole bunch of mess.
The man's brother got him outside, but he continued to rage.
Jumped up and was like, man, what? So they end up in the street right there. So my older son grabbed and told, stop, just let it go, stop.
It's kind of inexcusable. I mean, here we are to help people and being attacked. No, that's not the right thing.
Detroit police telling us tonight that the man would not calm down, would not follow orders. They used a taser on him right there in the street to get things under control and the entire ordeal. So the son and the mom had to be taken by medics to the hospital to be checked out. We're told the medic that was punched in his head over and over again, also treated and released, but he's off duty tonight while he recovers. His partner also taking himself out of service, both so disturbed by this attack. We're live tonight. Sean Lane, Local 4.
A mess, y'all. What the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? What is wrong with y'all? This is y'all's sons. It's like rabid dogs. It's like, what the hell, child? If I was a medic, I would have left. I would have left that damn lady. And if she passed out, that's on you, ding nog. And I know that's harsh, but F that. And they blurring out the face of the mom, and they're bleeping out names to protect the culprit's identity. But no, you need to show all of these fools involved. You need to air out all of them. It's like, you should be embarrassed, lady. You should be embarrassed raising these monsters. It's like, okay, so do the medics need to be armed too? Here he is trying to save the fool's mom's life, and he beats him up, punches him in the head. A mess. Okay, so I want to get to this next story about another menace. And shout out to Black women divest from Black men. She shared a clip of a menace fighting with officers. And I want you guys to wait until the end, because there is a major plot twist that happens here that is very, very crazy. So let's watch this next clip.
5 dramatic body camera video shows the moment a driver goes toe-to-toe with an officer during a traffic stop. That East Point driver is now charged with trying to disarm an officer.
Fox 5's Doug Evans walks us through the body camera footage of the traffic stop that started with a suspected DUI and took a violent turn.
Peachtree City Police say that 52-year-old Harvey Johnson was being pulled over on suspicion of DUI. The officer reported that he saw Johnson's car weaving in and out of his lane and that he took a turn wide and almost left the roadway. The officer's body cam video shows that Johnson immediately is out of the car as the patrolman pulls up. The audio is laced with numerous obscenities on the part of Johnson, so we've turned that down. But from what we could hear, it appears that Johnson was very angry about being stopped and, in his words, followed by the officer. The officer instructs him a number of times to get back in his vehicle, and at one point, the video showed Johnson trying to push past the officer, and he gets angry and upset by the officer for touching him. When the officer tries to detain Johnson, the video shows an apparent struggle. The officer's body camera is even knocked off and knocked to the ground. We pick up the confrontation from the nearby motel security camera, and that video shows a very intense struggle between Johnson and the officer. At one time, the two men fall to the ground, with Johnson on top of the officer. The video then shows Johnson trying to get away and get inside the hotel lobby and lock the door on the officer. The video then shows Johnson in the hotel lobby with other officers arriving, and it's during that time where Johnson is accused of trying to take one of the officers' tasers away from him.
One of the officers has his taser out trying to cover him. The offender reaches back and grabs hold of the officer's taser and attempts to remove it from his possession. The officer is able to maintain control of that taser and remove his hand from it.
Eventually, with the use of the taser and the struggle of three officers, Johnson is taken into custody. He's facing numerous charges, including trying to disarm an officer and simple assault on an officer. Peachtree City Police say there was also a 10-year-old little girl in the car with Johnson along with her mother. That little girl is accused of cursing at officers, spitting on them, throwing rocks at them. She's also accused of knocking an officer's body camera off of them, picking it up and smashing it to the ground. They're not charging the 10-year-old. Instead, they're charging the mother with being a party to the child's crimes. The mother is also being charged with giving police a false identification. In Peachtree City, I'm Doug Evans, Fox 5 News.
What the hell, y'all? Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's start off with this Menace. So we watched him be belligerent. He's being irate for no reason. Let's see if we can go back to the still of him just acting an ass, acting a fool. Here he is. Yeah, so he's being irate. He's being very, very belligerent. He's fighting with the police officer. He even tries to use the officer's taser, the news story said. And it's like, okay, well, if the cops would have shot him defending themselves, then they would have been fired. They would have been criticized by BLM and all that BS. It would have been protests and stuff. And this don't make no sense. He should have turned him into a bullet bag. He should have been wearing a toe tag, doing all this mess. And they say at the end that the little girl, his daughter, even engaged in this bull crap too. So they said that she spat on the officer and fought them and that she knocked one of the cops' body cam off. This don't make no damn sense. What the hell? And I'm so glad they said that the mammy mother got charged, because best believe she's the reason why that little girl thought that shit was okay. And that girl could have gotten killed out there. But you know what? This is normal in Blackistan, this dysfunction. They done socialize this girl at 10 years old to be a social justice warrior in a cape for these men and their problematic behavior. And she only 10 damn years old. It don't make no damn sense. Okay, so let's keep going. So shout out to quite a few of you guys who have sent this story to me. So shout out to Montrese, Butterfly Rain, and Black Women Divest from Black Men, who shared a video of a menace beating a woman at a gas station simply because she asked to use the public restroom. So trigger warning, this is very disturbing. If you're sensitive to violence, especially towards women, this may not be for you. But let's watch this clip.
Now, to a CBS 2 exclusive. A gas station worker in South Suburban Dalton caught on camera beating a woman inside the store. We warn you, the video is graphic. Our Jermont Terry tracked down the victim. Lots to get into. Let's get right to Jermont Terry in Dalton, where protesters actually forced that store to close for the night. Jermont.
Brad, tonight the lights are off. This 24-hour gas station is shut down. It is mission accomplished for the protesters who came out furious by the attack of this woman by a man who works here.
A rally and cry of outrage at the Shell on Sibley Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue in Dalton.
Justice for Kia!
This crowd gathering for Nakia Smith. She's bruised.
I guess he stumped her in her arm.
After this assault caught on video.
Open the door!
And every time I close my eyes to go to sleep, that's just all I see.
Smith says she tried to use the gas station's restroom and was originally denied by the man behind the counter. But there was a woman working too.
And you asked that woman what?
Can I use the bathroom?
And she allows you to go?
She let me go to the bathroom.
And as you're walking towards the bathroom,
I hear him come from behind the counter and go to lock the door.
Fearful of what the man would do, Smith says she accidentally urinated on herself in the aisle.
It's a medical condition. I can't control it all the time.
Smith says when she tried to leave the store, the employee would not let her.
The video you got, that was the end of the situation. That was not the beginning.
She tells me the man refused to unlock the door.
I'm starting to unlock the door. He pushed me. I pushed him back. So I continue to let myself out. And he started hitting me.
Open the door! Oh my
Her friends were locked outside watching in horror. It turns out the person recording is a stranger.
She doesn't know her.
Yet Smith's mother is grateful the stranger captured what she did.
Those were blows. He attacked her.
Oh my God.
The front door is boarded up where friends eventually broke the glass to get Smith out safely. They are rallying after learning people have complained about this employee before.
When you get complaints, check into those complaints.
And tonight, Dalton police are sitting outside of this shut down gas station. As for the man in that video, he walked into the police station late this afternoon to turn himself in 2 days after the attack. Tonight, Dalton's mayor telling me that she has ordered the police chief to personally get involved in this investigation to make sure that charges stick at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Reporting live in Dalton tonight, Jermont Terry. Brad, back to you.
All right, Jermont, we know you're staying on top of it.
This is so disgusting, y'all. It's so disgusting. So she wanted to use the restroom. She was advised by one of the other gas station employees that she could. So this man beat her ass. What the F? So he beat this woman like a man. This is so bizarre, y'all. This is so crazy. And Black women, this is why you can't give these men an ounce of power. You can't. This man is a freaking gas station employee. And he got so power drunk and so went on such an ego trip that he beat the woman's ass simply because she went to use the public restroom against what he said. It just makes no sense at all. Y'all, this is why I tell you guys, stay away from Blackistan, period. I'm not just talking about romantically. Don't even go to their neighborhoods. Don't even stop to go to the gas station. I remember going, I went on a road trip and I had to pass through Kentucky. And I remember having to stop to get gas. But I remember Googling sundown towns first and saying, holy crap, I better not stop here because the closest exit was, I think it's called Corbin, Kentucky. And I saw on the list that was a sundown town. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to, drive a few more miles and just risk it because I don't want to go to an area that's not safe. That's how you got to be with Blackistan. You can't even go to the gas station. Don't go to any of these businesses over there because this is what happens. We just watched a story very recently of a 300-pound man who was 6'3" who beat up a woman who was just pumping her gas at the gas station. Y'all, we just stay away, man. Don't even go near these neighborhoods. And one quick note before we keep going, you saw that they were protesting. Who did y'all see there? Who did y'all see outside of that gas station protesting for this woman? And who was absent? So there weren't any men there. There weren't any Tyrones there. They were absent. They don't even protest for themselves, let alone for a Black woman. They're not going to check these men. These unicorns that they talk about, these so-called good Black men that like to say, not all. They're unusually absent in instances like this because they're not going to check him. They're not. They're just going to passively allow for this shit to happen. That's why I don't even play into, that argument, those types of really, really dumb, baseless arguments about not all, not all, not all. Okay, so where are the good men standing up for this woman? They're not present. Woo! Okay. So I want to get into this next story about a menace attempting to kidnap a child in NYC. Shout out to Optimistic Raincloud who shared this with me. Thank God it was a failed attempt and the mom turned into Superwoman and fought the kidnapper off and got her baby back. So let's watch this next story.
Now at 4, a mother's instinct kicked into high gear today when 2 men tried to kidnap her son right in front of her. Shocking video shows this play out. You can see a man grab the boy from the sidewalk, then put him in a car.
But his mom sprang into action to save her son. News 4's Miles Miller is live in Richmond Hill. And Miles, you spoke with that child's mother this afternoon.
That's right. That mom invited us into her house. She's obviously shaken up. She says the men didn't say anything to her, but boy, did she fight to get her son back. Snatched off the street in seconds, a 5-year-old skipping ahead of his mother on Thursday, grabbed by a man in front of her and thrown in the back of this car on Hillside Avenue in the Richmond Hill section of Queens.
It's quick. And say, oh my God, my kids, please.
Dolores Diaz jumps into mama bear mode, racing to get her son back.
And when the people come and take him, I turn in the car and my daughter and my boy and I want to open the car, but I can't.
At the same time, her son opens the back window.
Then my kid stand up in the window. I take it out.
Good Samaritans, hearing the screams, try to stop the car and chase after the 2 men. Police want you to take a good look at the guys. Today, the 5-year-old's mind was on cartoons. His mother, however, is shaken.
I'm scared. When I watch it, oh my God. Really?
You see him?
And we got to look at what one of those men was doing in the moment before that attempted kidnapping. More on that and more from the mother when we see you again at 6 tonight. We are live in Richmond Hill, Queens. I'm Miles Miller, News 4. Back to you.
Y'all, they was going to traffic that little boy. They was going to traffic that child. Because we know that they don't like children. They hate children. They don't even take care of their own damn kids, let alone kidnapping other people's. These nignogs were going to do some nasty, nefarious shit with that baby. And thank the Lord, thank God, that woman was quick thinking. Those maternal instincts kicked in and she was quick to react and got her baby back. I'm so happy. I couldn't imagine what she was feeling at that moment. Thank God. But these are your menaces. They're just terrorizing innocent people. This 5-year-old boy was minding his business, just skipping along. Can't even do that in Blackistan. Okay, so I want to go to this next story and shout out to Olivia who shared this. This one is of a unicorn menace who was a police officer. So he was a high value menace. And the authorities ended up finding his teenage stepson, his body in the wall of his home. So trigger warning, this is one of the difficult stories. Let's watch this one.
Some shocking new details in a disturbing case in Anne Arundel County. The teenage stepson of a Baltimore City police officer is found dead in a hole in a wall in the officer's house. WJZ is live tonight. Kelsey Kushner has the latest details. Kelsey.
Denise, well, these here are the charging documents in the case against Officer Eric Banks. And according to this report, officials say they found his 15-year-old stepson dead inside his house. A shocking discovery made inside this Curtis Bay home. New court documents show 15-year-old Deshaun Jones, the stepson of a Baltimore City police officer, was found dead inside of a wall. Reports say his stepfather, 34-year-old Baltimore City officer Eric Banks Jr., consented to a search of the house after police were called there for a custody dispute involving the teen's mother. When officers reached the loft on the top floor, they say they saw a hole in the wall with a white cover leaning on it. Banks Banks allegedly told officers it was a gun safe, but when they checked, they found the body of the 15-year-old and immediately put Banks in handcuffs. Neighbors tell us off camera it's sad.
I heard the mom crying, and that cry that I heard, instinctually I knew something had happened to her kids.
Court documents say Banks pleaded to kiss his kids after being handcuffed, then tried to grab an officer's gun, telling the officer they would, quote, have to end this. Now, Banks is a 3-year vet with the Baltimore City Police Department, and we are told that he has since been suspended without pay. Reporting live at 5, Kelsey Kushner for WJC.
This piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Gosh, what a heavy story. Black women, we gotta stop this nonsense. We have to. Children in Blackistan, they don't stand a chance. They don't. And it's the children I get so heartbroken over because they don't ask to be here. They don't ask to be here. They don't have a choice when you guys decide to engage in these really toxic, problematic relationships. And they're just becoming casualties. You know, these women, so what will happen is Black women will keep dating man after man, Dusty after Dusty, Tyrone after Tyrone, and we'll find out over and over again, one by one, that all these men ain't shit. Then you end up getting knocked up by one and having children with these fools, and you learn firsthand they ain't shit, but you still keep holding out hope that you're going to get this unicorn. Then shit like this happens. And this don't even make sense to me because it said that, you know, authorities were called because of a custody dispute, but he was a stepson. He was the officer's stepson. So I don't understand what happened here, but bottom line, this story is effing sad. This is so damn sad. Okay, so I want to get to this last story, and I had so many people share this with me. So shout out to JM and Jai, loyal subscribers and listeners who always send me content. I appreciate you. Also, shout out to MH. I'll call you. I don't want to dox you, sis, who shared this very, very sad news story of a Black woman tragically having her life taken from her at the hands of 2 of these menaces. And trigger warning, this one is tough. Very, very tough. You know, we cover very heavy stories here. This one is probably one of the most difficult ones I've had to cover because we see the mother's raw reaction of learning her child has been taken away from her during the trial. So let's watch this and hang in there with me, guys. This one is difficult.
2019. I said goodnight and I love you to my daughter, Monique Bell, for the last time.
An emotional statement from the mother of Monique Bell as 2 of her killers are sentenced to life in prison. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Amy Hockert. Monique, a Minneapolis realtor, was kidnapped and murdered after she was lured to a fake house showing in Maple Grove. Fox 9's Paul Bloom joins us live tonight. So, Paul, 2 of the men involved here will spend the rest of their lives in prison.
Amy, those 2 men, Cedric Berry and Barry Davis, part of a much larger, frightening and murderous conspiracy that really rocked Minneapolis some 20 months ago when they kidnapped and killed local realtor Monique Bell. Now, all this time later in that emotion-filled and tension-filled courtroom, you can tell the loss of Monique continues to weigh heavy on her family. Today, telling me they would take a slight bit of satisfaction out of these life sentences, but explaining that nothing will bring the young woman back.
Monique did not have to die. I didn't have to throw her out like she was garbage either. My baby was so precious to me. So all of she was so valuable. How dare they?
Monique Bell's mom telling Judge Peter K1ll in the court that her daughter came face to face with pure evil on New Year's Eve 2020. Monique's 2 babies left without a mother, a truly awesome, beautiful mom who had a giant heart and electric smile, according to Wanda Williams-Bow during her agonizing victim impact statement. The Hennepin County jury convicted the two defendants, Barry Davis and Cedric Berry, on a handful of charges, including first-degree premeditated murder and the horrific slaying of the real estate agent, which apparently was part of a larger conspiracy to get at her boyfriend and the father of Monique's children over some kind of dispute connected to the music industry. According to evidence presented at trial, Monique Bow was lured to a bogus home showing, kidnapped in the back of a U-Haul truck, tortured, and then executed. Her body tossed out into a North Minneapolis back alley. Both men maintaining their innocence, even as Judge K1ll handed down sentences of life in prison without the possibility of release.
And I also would just like to say sorry. Something that I thought I would never say. Yet here I sit, a condemned man sitting in the same seat as Derek Chauvin, a man who killed someone in front of the world, and I'm about to receive life without parole for a few fingerprints, and they said were mine on some tape and some cell phones.
And one other important point from the courtroom today, Judge Peter K1ll actually tacked on an additional 240 months, so 20 years on top of those life sentences. Those 20 years have to be served after the life sentences. The reason Judge K1ll executed that sentence today, he said, in case the laws ever change, he never wants these two men ever getting out of prison. We're live outside the Hennepin County Government Center tonight. Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
Okay. Man, that's heavy. Ooh, that's heavy. And this is what I mean, though. These men are menaces. They are. And if you look at that woman was smart. She was educated. She was a professional. She was beautiful and was a fully contributing citizen to society. She had a real estate license. She was a realtor and was a mother of two. And she's your typical Black woman. She's, that's what we do. We're out here being a superstar, being superwoman. And she made something of herself and had a very promising future. This was a young, blossoming woman. And these menaces took all of that away from her. These fucking disgusting niggers. And if you listen to the story, they said something about how it was all over some shenanigans that her man was up to. And it was like, okay, she was just a casualty in this situation. And ended up getting tortured and ended up getting killed and discarded like trash in the back alley. Stay away from these men. Please, Black women, stay away. It is not safe. It's not safe. And the culprit is talking about sorry. Let's see if I can rewind to the still.
Point from the courtroom today.
Where he apologizes. Oh, here he is. He's talking about sorry. After y'all done tortured this woman who had nothing to do with whatever silly beef, trivial beef you had. Murdered her and discarded her. Then got the nerve to talk about Derek Chauvin. It's like, what a slap in the face. What a slap in the face. Because I bet you this woman, if she's like most Black women, she was probably a vocal proponent of BLM. She was probably one of these Black women who are social justice warriors, who are out catching rubber bullets to the face, protecting these men, risking her life for these men. And they took her life like she was a dog. Took her life, tortured her, and murdered her. I can't. So, y'all, I hate doing these stories. I hate doing these videos. And I've said it time and time again, and I'll say it again. My inbox is full of these stories. Full of them. Every time I open up my email, I'm hoping it's just a pump and dump situation. I'm hoping it's just a nigger who cheated or someone who abandoned his children. That's minimal in comparison to these extreme stories that are so common. It's to the point where I find myself holding my breath, wishing that that's all it is, that, oh, somebody is just being a typical Dusty Nignog, an unemployed broke Dusty. But no, 9 times out of 10, it's a tragic crime story like the ones that I've shared with you all tonight. To the point where I couldn't even get to all of them that are in my email right now. And these, if you look at the dates, this one, they shared this on July 12th. Let's look at the one about the cop, July 8th. The July 16th, the one where, you know, there was that attempted kidnapping in New York City, where the woman got beaten for trying to use the restroom, July 21st. This just happened 2 days ago, y'all. And it's like, these are only the ones that you guys have shared with me. I don't go looking for these stories. So we haven't even touched the millions of others that we don't know about. The ones that are unreported are the ones that you guys just haven't shared with me because you haven't come across them. Black Femicide on Instagram said that these menaces have killed 761 Black women so far this year, y'all. This year alone. So that means as we speak, another Black woman is being harmed or being murdered at the hands of one of these menaces. This is a state of emergency, y'all. It really is. And it's so interesting because I'll get Black women, divested Black women who, you know, will be detractors, and they'll say, oh, you know what, you need to talk about the white men that do this because, you know, we also need to be leery and make sure that we're vigilant around white men. And it's like, y'all, let's be real. So these crimes where Black women are being hurt and harmed and having their lives tragically taken from them, the overwhelming majority are committed by these Tyrones. So the stat I read up on it is 99%. 99% that are committed by Black men. And yeah, you'll get these one-off instances where we'll see a white guy committing crimes like this against Black women, but that's a rarity. That is a rarity. That's just a one-off. Rare occasion when that happens. And what we have to do is we have to focus on the immediate threat. We got to focus on the forest, not just a single tree, not just a one-off tree. It would be like if, you know, I was at a lake and I saw you drowning. It would be like you yelling for help, and I have a raft and I came up to you and said, fire safety is very important. You look at me like I was fucking crazy if I did that. You would look at me like I was a weirdo. You say, I agree, but can you save me from drowning first? What the F, y'all? Let's use common sense. We got to save ourselves from the immediate threat. We got to save ourselves from drowning. Divest from these men. And it's not just about getting married and shit. And I know that's important. Chivalry is important. Getting treated right romantically is important. But it's important to divest. If anything, do it for your safety. Do it to protect your lives. Do it to protect your children's lives. All right, guys. Thank you so much for enduring that with me. I know this was a difficult one. I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Fellas, if y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.